Hello and welcome to episode 16 of the Banter Podcast. The podcast that you didn't ask for, but you're getting it anyway.
Because it's our podcast.
Yes.
And not yours.
Full disclaimer, we've been playing beer pong for several hours now, so this is what you're having to wrestle with. Right, I am your host, Barely Beating Reviews. I am joined, as always, by Mr. Scott.
Hello, and I'm here drinking some Christmas Mead. And we're also joined with Claire.
I'm also drinking Christmas mead, but different Christmas mead to what you're drinking. The shitty version that you can get from Morrison's for $4.95. Highly recommend.
It went up.
What percentage is that, though?
$4.75, that's me.
13-ish.
13.
This is 10.
Oh, well, you know, cheapness comes at a price.
When I was at Comic-Con, I bought a £10 bottle of mead. Lemon-scented mead. When I was fucked. Didn't read the percentage because it was so delicious. And came back and it was 6%.
6?
I was like, wow, but it was so easy. Like,
it would be at 6%.
it's like, it's a good driving mead.
Just to let you know, listeners, anything at 6% is easy.
We got our title so early.
But don't you find, though, the more expensive it is, the less percentage it is, though, in those sense? When it comes
I think
to
back
things
in the
like
day,
that.
the alcohol was genuinely weaker, but they just drank fuckloads more of it than we did.
It was safer than water.
Yeah.
Apologies for no Halloween podcast. That was entirely on me. I lost my voice that weekend and it was quite annoying. But yes, here we are now. As usual, we're doing what we enjoyed about 2019 and what we didn't enjoy about 2019. I am staying clear of film-related material because I am yet to release my best and worst of. But if you guys have got films that you've watched, I will happily jump in on that. But I am not saying anything specifically because...
So you don't want to give them away.
I saw 2 whole films this year.
What did you see?
I saw...
That's literally double the amount you saw last year.
Yes, all I
It was
saw
just
last
Venom.
year was Venom. Yeah. I enjoyed.
Oh, I'm drinking honey bourbon and Pepsi. It's okay, now go.
We've all got a bit of a honey thing going on.
Christmas, I think that's why. Mine's
Very
spiced as
nectary.
well.
Very like...
Feliz Navidad.
I think I'm the only one who...
I'm drinking out of a 2-litre bottle of Pepsi that I decanted mead into, but yeah, let's keep it classy, bitches. Yeah, clink. So, 2 films that I saw The Lion King, good old Disney.
I didn't see that yet.
We
Haven't you?
spoke about it on the last podcast.
Did we?
We disagreed.
Well, yes, and it came down to the whole experience of the day, didn't it? Like, and who you saw it with, etc. I was having a wonderful time. However, Disney live-action films that you can expect next year, which I am particularly excited about because they are doing one of my favourite Disney films. So, last year, Disney released Dumbo, Aladdin, Lion King. Next year in 2020, we have Mulan.
Ooh.
Yes, we do.
So those of you who don't know, Mulan essentially
Lord of
girl
the Dragon.
saves father from serving in the Imperial Army, disguises herself as a man to battle invaders in China. Essentially, it's like drag meets Call of Duty. It's a beautiful time to be alive. I particularly like Mulan. I'm very excited about that. There are a bunch of other ones that Disney are releasing. I did make a list somewhere, but fucking no one really cares about them other than Mulan, let's be honest. Additionally, Bob's Burgers.
You've taken notes.
Yeah, I've got notes, mate.
The Bob's Burgers I'll be interested in.
Bob's Burgers movie.
The Mulan I find is funny, but are they going to have it as what it was? Wasn't it like a 13-year-old girl and like a 30-year-old guy in real life? Mm-hmm. Do you think they're going to portray it like that?
Well, we will see how far Disney will allow themselves to take this one. But, I mean, the amount of anti-Semitism that they've produced in the past, what's a bit of incest?
Or
When
the
it's
head
at
of Disney
home.
was a Nazi.
Exactly. Fuck
That's
Disney.
What's a bit of incest when it's...
There's
It was a
fucking
Nazi
There's a
lover.
fucking title.
I'm sorry, he was a Nazi lover.
What's a bit of incest when it's at home? Comma. Walt Disney was a Nazi.
Question mark.
Emoji.
Tell me about the second film that you've watched this year.
Second film I watched this year was fucking, and this is a legit one, Joker.
You have watched 3 films this year because
Have
you
I?
and me watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood together.
Yes, I've seen 3 films.
Shit.
3 whole films. I enjoyed all 3 of them. All were good for me.
Tell me how you felt about Joker.
Joker I really enjoyed. I enjoyed how we kind of got to see Batman and the Joker come alive at the same time. A little bit tired of the whole Bruce Wayne's parents dying again scene. We've seen that enough to not really need it in there, but, you know, I'm fine with that.
You watched my review.
I have seen your review. I have. And, dear podcast listeners, please do refer to... What the fuck's your thing called? Barely Breathing...
Reviews.com. Such a plug.
There you go. There's a shameless plug for
I didn't
you.
even prompt her for that.
And now you have to drink. Those are the rules. Glug glug, motherfucks.
To your point, you are right. They could have easily have done more character development on Arthur instead of seeing Bruce Wayne's parents die for the trillionth time. Like, we know it. Everyone knows it. People who aren't even, like, qualified as even casual fans know that Bruce Wayne's parents died, and that's what triggered Batman.
All you needed from that scene was, like, the Joker standing on the car and the flames and the blah, and in the background you see, like, a gunfire happen from that alleyway, and you'd have known. Like, you'd have seen Bruce Wayne's parents go into the alleyway, you'd have seen the gunfire in the background, you'd have put two and two together. I feel like they over-explain things for the sake of stupid people, and I don't think they appreciate how much people actually pick up from the nuances that they create. And I feel like there's quite an art of filming lost there.
Yes.
Catering for people who need shit explaining to them.
There are definitely several aspects of that movie that insult the intelligence of the audience.
Yeah.
Not everyone does know or seen the Batman films or seen the stories. I know people know of it, but there are some people who have actually never seen that. Because how many films have you sat there and said to someone, have you seen a list of films? And you sit there very surprised that they haven't seen, but you're like, why not?
In fairness, yes, I came across somebody who hadn't seen The Big Lebowski before the other day. And
I've seen quite a few.
How?
Have they seen it now?
No.
Not till now. You didn't force it.
But then again,
upon
I'm
them.
surprised when people haven't seen Lord of the Rings, because I just feel like it's a part of our culture.
But then when I've seen people who've seen Big Lebowski and then I showed them the tattoo, it's more surprising when they don't even recognise it. I'm like, what the fuck?
This is fairly niche, though. This says a symbol.
I think
I
that's...
love how you're pointing at it.
Yeah, sorry, podcast
we are
listeners.
pointing.
We each have the same tattoo that we got.
I'll upload it on the screen. I've got a picture
Here
of it.
is a picture. There it is.
Picture of it.
Kapow! Blam! I know, right? It looks like regret. But the thing is, we got this also.
It was your idea.
Yeah, damn right, it was my idea. I woke up
I
with
don't
it stuck
regret.
to my face.
I didn't know I was getting that tattoo until the moment when I was in the queue to get
Getting
the tattoo.
the tattoo, yeah. We digress. Either way, the point is that
You enjoyed Joker?
I enjoyed Joker. I enjoyed it for what it was. I way more enjoyed it than any kind of fucking Jared Leto version of anything.
I hate fucking Jared Leto's fucking version of Joker.
It frustrates me
Terrible.
when I see like anyone wearing any kind of merchandise about that, because I'm like, no, you just highlighted yourself as a cunt.
I believe they only wear it because they just
Secondary backup
like
podcast
him.
title.
I believe.
And I've just thrown this at you. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which you forgot you saw.
Forgot about that, yeah. Well, you know, it's been a long year. There's been a lot out. I really enjoyed that.
It
I very
was
much enjoyed that.
fucking good. I'm not going to speak about it too much because, spoiler alert, it is getting an award.
Oh,
I know.
fine.
Rightfully
It deserves
so.
one. It
Yeah.
does deserve one, in fairness. And, you know, DiCaprio and Brad Pitt both on the same screen. I mean, we all want to see that. But also, I very much enjoyed the whole Manson aspect of it, but not being a central thread in the story.
It was nice to see Sharon Tate being portrayed as a human being instead of an example of tragedy.
Yes.
I've literally quoted my own review from it.
It's so meta.
Spoiler alert.
But I believe it's a love letter to filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
It was done so well. It was not as violent as Tarantino's traditional MO is, but you do have to kind of wait for the violence because it's like happens within the last 20 minutes
It's in
or
the
so.
last scene, yeah, for sure.
But it's a really fucking good movie in every way. Everyone brings their A game. Wasn't happy with the way Bruce Lee was portrayed. The relatives of Sharon Tate gave Margot Robbie her old jewellery to wear whilst being filmed.
I think that really...
The little
speaks
Easter
volumes.
eggs like that.
Yeah. That, and when the family of the person who experienced it endorses your portrayal, That's the best compliment
Yes,
you can have.
Yeah.
because he refused to release the film until everyone was happy, like the relatives of the family or anyone
I
who's
like
involved
that.
were happy.
I think that's something that is very much missing from filmmaking today. I think people are far too wrapped up in what kind of...
The thought of someone else's feelings.
Yeah, because they're far too wrapped up in the profit that they can make to realise that there's things that you kind of need to appreciate, or at least give a nod to. Respect, yeah, like that you need to respect for the sake of being authentic. And I think that they really made an effort there that don't see elsewhere.
He's got one more film left and then he's done, apparently. Because it was his 9th film and he was like, after 10 I'm done. Yeah.
I respect that.
Some people want it to be the next Kill Bill, and I'm like, no, he's done...
You can't. No, don't fucking mess with Kill Bill now. We all love it far too much for you to go and add another fucking cash cow onto the end.
Kill Bill now.
Don't be the next Kill Bill. In the comments, put what you think it'll be.
No, it's not. That's James Cameron's thing.
My bad.
No, it's just Tarantino, and he won't...
I love Tarantino.
He was meant to do... He was flirting with the idea of doing a Star Wars movie. He was like, don't let
don't be... It can't be Star Wars, it can't be fucking Kill Bill.
It needs to be something that he wrote.
You know what I'd like to see
It shouldn't be canon.
I think it should be something that he's completely done for the sake of his own indulgence.
An auteur project.
Yeah, just like a whole fucking 90 minutes of foot shots, because you know he has that fetish.
It was made by me, for me.
Yeah, very that.
And
like an ASMR for Tarantino, like to me, from me. Oh yeah, by the way, you know, Christmas time, it being, that could be Tarantino's To Me From Me. Treat yourself, guys.
It won't be this year, and it obviously won't. It won't be next year.
I'd like to think that it would take longer than a year to make.
Very long. Do not do a Pulp Fiction 2.
No.
I'm staring into the microphone as if he's viewing us from
As if he is the microphone. Other things that Disney are releasing in 2020. Yes, I'm going back to that.
Diminishing Returns.
That sounds like a drag name.
That's the backup podcast title.
You know a drag name that I really enjoy that I heard the other day? Vanity Plates. Welcome to the stage, Vanity Plates.
I like
you
that.
You can hear it, right? Anyway, so another thing that Disney are releasing just off the back of Mulan and Bob's Burgers, Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise?
Yes. So it's like Jurassic Park franchise.
Yeah.
But a series, I think.
Oh, God.
With The Rock and Emily Blunt. Yes!
A series with
The
Rock and Emily Blunt. Fucking hell.
Yeah, it's like Jumanji and Jurassic Park.
I watched Jumanji 3
illegitimate
the
love
other
child.
day.
I watched Jumanji, the first one that The Rock was in, so Jumanji 2, I suppose.
We slated it so much. You remember when we put the writers of Jumanji in the ultimate Konami?
Yes, but I saw
Kind of.
it and I was kind of there for it.
I will say this right now on the record. I was wrong. I rightfully went into that with paranoia and anger, considering the premise of it was dog shit.
Yeah.
But it was... And it sounded like a betrayal initially, hence why they ended up in the
And
comedy.
it kind of was still. The only thing is you just have to get on board immediately.
It was executed well. Jack Black was MVP of that movie. The second one.
Yes.
And there was
very
a slight,
much so.
there was a tasteful tribute to Robin Williams, but
Essentially what we're trying to say is that the movie itself was dog shit, but if you kind of remove the love that you have for the original from your experience, you have a good time, actually.
on paper it looks amazing. Danny DeVito is involved.
Is this the third one?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the third one.
I haven't seen the third, but
I
I'm
won't
looking
spoil.
forward to it.
Rory McCann is the bad guy. You may know him as the Hound.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, hello.
He's very...
I'm glad he got work.
It's
after
like
Game of
he's
Thrones.
trying to be like the Hound, but dilute it so it's got that 12A rating, which I think it has. I don't
The
know.
Disney filter.
Yeah. The Rock is fine, Jack Black is fine. It's different, like they're not the same characteristics as they were in the sequel because different people possess the avatars with the same cast. But yes, Danny Glover as well is in it, which is always good.
You had me at Danny DeVito, which I think you said first, so I was in.
There.
I'm excited about some of the things that happened this year, and we have had some decent programming in 2019. There has been some good shit.
I can easily just like list off a few things that I've watched this year that I enjoyed in no particular order.
Please do, it's probably going to be very similar to mine.
Okay, again, in no particular order, I'm just going to take the helm for a bit and talk about shit that I watched in 2019. By pure happenstance, stumbled on the Grand Tour's latest episode. Do you remember after season 3 they canned their traditional format of car reviews and stuff and was like, we're just going to focus on doing like random specials. Like when they have to usually get the cheap... It's like a cheap car challenge, isn't it? Where they buy a shit car,
that boat
have to
shit
drive
was terrible.
it. You watched the boat shit episode?
No, when they had the celebrities on the boats.
Oh, yeah. It's weird that you said the boat shit special because the latest episode was called Seaman.
I have seen it advertised.
Basically, they had to go from Cambodia to Vietnam, which is 500 miles. But they had to do it on boats.
Oh, okay. That sounds quite interesting. How did that go?
It was the usual silly middle-aged men falling over stuff and swearing, which is what you come to expect from these guys.
It was a Top Gear.
It was a Grand Horse car, don't say Top Gear.
You know what I mean, though? It
was very them. It was like their traditional MO.
I still remember the one we watched with the log, and also
when he smashed his back window. That's one of my favourite moments ever on it.
Same. And also with the photography of the animals when they're sitting there waiting. It's like they're sitting there seeing an amazing place. It's like bored.
They kind of like promoting that global warming is happening and we should all be aware of it. And I'm like, well, you say that, but
they're doing a car program that sits there and drives around.
Yeah, exactly. Like
using
Jeremy Clarkson in
fuels
particular has been doing car shows for longer than any of us here have been alive, and you know, like wasting what I imagine is like a plethora of fuel, causing climate change almost single-handedly. Yet he's sitting there. It's like, is the irony lost on you, really, at this point?
Additionally,
give me money so I can make more programs about burning more fuel. Sorry.
Well, it's fossil fuels, isn't it?
Yeah,
fossil fuels.
fossil
And
fuels.
the day that they stop competitive entertainment
like
fucking
NASCAR,
racing.
Formula One.
Yeah, NASCAR, Formula One. Because the amount of fuel that a single race uses in comparison to the general public usage across a fucking lifetime it doesn't measure.
It's also very... They kind of like throw a lot of political stuff into it as well.
There is a fucking fuel crisis and this shit is happening for entertainment. No.
They go very
It's
political
ironic,
as well.
isn't it?
I don't subscribe to that. I think it's fucking wrong. Like, don't tell me to get an electric fucking car if you're going to be putting this bullshit on using all the fuel that I would in an entire lifetime.
Yeah, you spent...
in one race.
Fuck
off.
Yeah, you spent 3 decades yelling power whilst flooring a fucking Corvette, and now you're like, oh yes.
Yeah.
All that aside, and their political agenda aside, I was entertained. Killed an hour and a half. But yeah, the next season's just going to be a series of specials. Like, they're not going to do car reviews anymore.
I heard about this, yeah, because they're the ones that people subscribe to the most.
Yes, it was very their idea. That's cool.
Or is it just because that's all what people really enjoy? And that's
Yeah,
what
exactly.
they're doing?
Like, I
They're
don't
just
give a shit about the
Which is
new
fair
Ford
enough.
Focus that I'm not going to buy.
Essentially, yeah.
But the funny thing is, they're getting paid to have fun experience.
Yeah, and of course they're going to
That's the enjoyable. That's the bit I really
But
like.
also, as a viewer, I don't really remember specific Top Gear episodes except for that one where Gillian Anderson was a guest for personal reasons.
You have spoke to her about her extensively in this podcast.
As she deserves the platform. However, that's not the point. The point is that the ones that you remember the most are the specials. When Richard Hammond got very attached to that car, Oscar, remember? It was like,
yes,
I'm recognising the name.
That beige fucking...
I think about that often. And I don't know why, it just kind of comes into my conscious
wasn't Oscar.
mind. Oliver.
Oliver. It was. I don't even
Oliver.
need to look at it.
It was like a Nissan Figaro or some shit called Oliver.
I've just summoned up so much brain power to remember that.
Well done.
Thank you. The next 3 letters on my notes say A-E-W.
AEW! AEW! AEW!
AEW.
I am so here for AEW. I don't follow anything WWE anymore, WWF, etc. As much as I love it from my childhood, I feel like AEW is what provides the wrestling of my childhood for my adult life now.
This does qualify because AEW was established January 1st, 2019.
Oh, wow!
It's such a young company.
Very young. It's done so well. It's inspired the jacket I'm wearing right now. In fact, let's have an impromptu selfie that we will put on the screen.
It's got that 90s grit that's very reminiscent of WCW, which is very apropos because it too is an independent wrestling company that's flagship program is broadcasted on TNT, and it was actually the first pro wrestling show to air on TNT since the final episode of Monday Night Nitro, which finished way back in the day in 2001. Very nostalgic. Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone commentating together, which is amazing because when the Monday Night Wars thing was going on, Jim Ross was the main commentator for WWF at the time, and Tony Schiavone was for WCW. And now,
I'm so glad he came out of retirement to do that.
Overall, I genuinely think it's just simply better than WWE. It's like the PG versus the private, which means that the private AEW has more freedom. The wrestlers can be a little like naughtier with their
You can
language.
fucking swear. You can swear. There's female fucking referees. What's her name?
Audrey something.
Audrey. We're here for Audrey. She is everything that you want her to be and more, plus sassy lipstick
To
on top.
WWE's credit, they hosted this year the first ever female wrestling match in Saudi Arabia. Big step.
Yeah, massive. Big steps happening
all
on
good.
both platforms. But AEW just seems to be taking over. And it's not just amongst us. There's other people that I know that watch or have been WWE fanatics for quite some time that are now converting to AEW and just unsubscribing from
I
their
cancelled my
WWE.
subscription.
Yeah.
I did it last week.
There you go. And you're not the only one.
I was
It's a trend.
I was like, because in terms of like Raw and SmackDown, which is on Sky Sports, which I don't have, I just watch 20-minute highlights on YouTube. And because
You don't get
because
all
it was
of it from
because it was getting like progressively worse, it felt like more of a chore, more like something that I had to do. And it does reflect like the wrestlers that have moved from WWE to AEW, Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley. They just seem genuinely happier because they're in charge of their own storylines now. Jon Moxley, or Dean Ambrose as he was known in WWE, had to do stuff for his storyline that he didn't want to do towards the end, and that made him, it was like giving him anxiety because he was building a reputation that wasn't of his own volition.
True. However, I do feel like at the moment I am all about Le Champion. I don't really care about anyone else. So I want to see where they're going to go from there. But I am so here for Chris Jericho.
Have you had your Chris Jericho wank yet?
I have not had my Chris Jericho wank yet. Dear listeners that don't know, I tasked myself for 2019 for trying to have a wank that involved AEW's Chris Jericho. And so far I've been unsuccessful, not for the lack of trying. You know, maybe in the new year. As of for right now, I am here for his character, but as a sex symbol I need something else. I feel like that's what AEW is missing, someone for me to wank over.
Orange Cassidy.
Other than Orange Cassidy.
Is the wrestling itself better than WWE? In some aspects, yes, as it's way more violent. Like you guys didn't even watch this. The unsanctioned
People get injured.
dark match between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega was absolutely savage. And
What's
it,
like the most savage thing that's happened so far in it?
barbed wire mattress. They just threw stuff and rolled around in fucking.
I
mouse
think
traps.
the Cody eye cut was unscripted and
was
therefore the
unscripted.
gnarliest.
Um,
That was against Le Champion.
It shows a lot of promise, and it won't be long before the talent overtakes WWE.
Let's be honest, you're not really here for anything
You're
other
there
than
for
the
Jericho.
storyline. And this is my point. No one really gives a shit other than that. And from the other people that I've spoken to it about, there's something else missing. Like, we love Le Champion. I've even gone to the point of watching an unboxing of the champagne that you can get.
He unboxed his own product.
Oh,
my
yes.
god!
And it is exactly what you
Does
want
he
it
act
to
very
be.
surprised about the whole thing?
Oh,
and
it's so
Oh.
fucked. It's not even capped properly, and that's my favourite part about it. It's a beautiful thing, but I want the storyline to go somewhere else. I want to care about someone else's storyline, and at the moment I don't yet. And I feel like that's the only thing missing. I need to care about a storyline other than Le Champion.
I think you're purely focused on this Chris Jericho wank, which is why your interest hasn't deviated from him.
That is a potential factor to this, yeah.
Because I could probably have my Chris Jericho wank tonight, and it wouldn't
It's been
even
such a struggle.
it wouldn't even interrupt my quotidian.
It's his
I'd brush it
chest.
off.
It is his chest.
I watched Scream Season 3 a couple of months ago.
This is season 3?
Yeah, exactly. Like, I was literally bobbing about on Reddit about Scream 2 theories and that kind of stuff. And apparently it was released in July on VH1. And then it was uploaded onto YouTube 2 days later. That's basically the digital equivalent of straight to video. Like, it literally had no advertising whatsoever. It also has nothing to do with the Woodsboro or Lakewood murders, which basically means it has nothing to do with the movies or the previous 2 Scream TV series that you've seen and loved on Netflix.
So no one gave a shit, essentially.
Literally no. It's set in its own universe, yet the ghost face mask is used. I've always had the theory that you should never complain about things that you get for free. And since I don't actually pay for YouTube, this very much falls under that category. So whatever I say that can be perceived as criticism is like observation. Yeah, that'll stick. It's fucking bad. But in an entertaining, fun way. The acting is as one would expect from a group of unknowns starring in something that you didn't even want or ask for. And that really is putting it politely. The death scenes, which is why you'd bother watching anything like this, are about as original as a wet dolphin. Again, observation, not complaints. But yeah, it doesn't hold a candle to any of the previous Scream-related material. Speaking of that, there is a potential 5th movie en route to our lives. The casting is very much being kept a secret, but David Arquette and Neve Campbell have said in the past that they'd be up for another one, but no idea if it's going to be a continuation of previous narrative or a reboot.
BoJack season 6.
That was a horrendous change of gear.
I know, I'd stopped listening to what you were saying. BoJack season 6. I personally enjoyed it very much.
I was just like, what's your season?
I haven't seen season 5 yet.
What?
You haven't seen
It's a half
BoJack
season. It was in the half
5?
season.
Well, whatever. What was the season I haven't seen for? What was the season you keep telling me I need to watch from?
Oh, you need to rewatch 5. Yeah, you haven't caught up.
I haven't caught up at all.
Okay. Oh my god, you haven't even watched that season. Okay,
No.
we must tread lightly.
No, I don't mind. Carry on.
Essentially,
Don't worry
we
about
enjoyed ourselves. We got a good old mixture of dark and light this season round, which I feel like was missing from the last. I felt like the last season was particularly dark. And this season, although it had very much dark moments, was kind of buffered with other storylines that I appreciated.
Actually, that's more of a push to actually watch it more now.
Yeah.
Because it was very, very dark
You
at
watch
the moment.
shit like this to have a good time, and I feel like BoJack got too deep.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I didn't want to keep watching. That's the reason why I've been put off, keep watching it. So actually hearing that has made it more enjoyable.
Although I appreciated those deep moments, would you rewatch those episodes?
No,
I wouldn't.
no, I don't watch BoJack to have a good time.
No.
No, but you should. You did in the beginning.
No, it was always there. Like,
it was always there, but it feels
like
very
the dark,
prominent
like
now.
his personal issues was always a glooming thing, and that he will be on a war path to destroy himself,
to twitch,
and
it?
doesn't give a fuck who he destroys on the way.
Yeah.
But he's not even aware he's doing it.
I felt like in the beginning of the seasons they did that with more light-heartedness.
He wasn't actually featured in several episodes at all. Even the
Yeah,
last one.
I noticed
the last
that.
one, he wasn't even there.
It was less about him in a lot of them.
It was less about him, but more of the way he affects people's lives, decisions, and everything. Like, he has that presence about him. Like, especially the last scene. I won't go into it. The last scene is extremely powerful, and it's about people who he's done permanent damage. It is damage. He's done permanent damage to. Yet.
And you know all that shit is about.
And you've seen that shit happen. And then when you watch the scene unfold in front of you, he's like a looming presence that you can almost feel behind you, like he's the Grim Reaper. And I'm not even exaggerating.
No, it's eerie.
It's very eerie presence. But again, it's stuff that he's on his self-sabotaged path, but he doesn't give a shit who it affects on the way. Or he at least is...
giving the illusion of reform.
Yes, and I don't think he's aware of it, because in his core, I don't think he's a bad horseman. But he doesn't seem to be able to get the awareness that he is ruining many other people's lives as well as his own. With that said, he is extremely relatable, and it's quite compelling.
It's a big sip there.
Yeah,
Huge time.
BoJack, we're happy about. We like that it happened. I'm excited for more
I'm
things
probably
to happen
gonna
from
cry when it ends, and it ends in February.
Yeah,
The
it's
next
not
thing when the
long.
season's out.
Oh. But
One
no, thank you
thing-
for saying that. I'm definitely going to force myself more to watch it now.
Do. You won't regret watching it.
Because I thought it was going to carry on
In
as
the
it
same
was.
way that if you watch Walking Dead now, it's better than the last season, and you.
I'm
won't
never gonna
be
watch
mad
it.
about that.
10
Yeah, fair play. Whatever.
10 seasons is too much.
It is now to catch up on. However, current season right now, we're in part 2 of season 10, which will air on February 23rd. We've just had our mid-season finale. Alpha, played by Samantha Morton, fucking here for her. She's very, very fucking good. I keep getting told that things from the comic books, like deaths that other characters have experienced from the comic books, are going to happen to other characters as conspiracy theories, etc. Whatever. I don't really care about that shit. I'm just happy that this season is better than it was before. And I'm excited for the new one in 2020.
The Purge season 2 finished it last night.
Ooh.
It doesn't carry on from season 1, but the structure is very similar. It has several separate narratives happening at the same time that sort of meet up towards the final few episodes. However, instead of having the entire season cover one whole Purge, the majority of season 2 took place off Purge. It doesn't mean that there is a lack of gore, far from it, to be honest. I enjoyed seeing how the previous Purge affects people during the year and how people prepare for the upcoming Purge. Finally, the franchise explores areas of crime outside of murder, which was refreshing, but could definitely go further in season 3 if there is one, because despite season 2 being a dramatic improvement of season 1, it didn't get anywhere near as many views, which is a shame because I just want more Purge, and there's Easter eggs scattered everywhere, and it's a good time. Again, like Scream season 3, if you want to see off an afternoon with background, just do it.
On the back of that, if you want to kill some time whilst engaging your head in something, have any of you seen the new season of Explained on Netflix?
Not.
No, but that is on my list next to watch.
It's a good time. It's 20 minutes per episode, highlighting different elements of just general life as it is now. For example, it talks about a whole plethora of things, like from diamonds to weed to tattoos to esports to cricket as a thing, the stock market. Like, there's some episodes that you think, why would I watch that? For example, cricket for me. But I ended up learning a whole bunch of shit about cricket that I never appreciated before, but I absolutely do now. And because it's in 20-minute episodes and is from a variety of perspectives, it makes you feel more informed as a person. I enjoy
YouTube
it.
hits Netflix, isn't it?
Yeah, there's one about random things and there's one about the mind specifically, and the one about the mind specifically is the one that aired this year.
Yeah, you told me there was a Rocket League episode, didn't you?
Yeah, about esports and how it's a phenomenon now. There's one about athleisure, as they call it.
It's very much that. I flew to Madrid to watch people play esports.
Yeah. Yeah, it's basically talking about each of these topics and how they kind of contribute to our society now. The Diamonds episode was particularly interesting. But yeah, I enjoyed that very much. One thing that I enjoyed that isn't getting a new season, which I'm very surprised about, is Netflix original Tuca and Bertie. Did either of you watch this?
Never heard of it.
I would recommend anybody to watch this. It's an animated series about two birds called Tuca and Bertie, and I've definitely talked about this on a podcast before.
Have.
Yeah, and I'm pissed off that this isn't getting a new series because it was fucking brilliant. It's an animated series in a way that you haven't seen it before. It kind of unlocks the potential of it for me. I'll leave it there for you. Go do your own research. Enjoy that.
Is it one of those ones where, yeah, you're pissed off that a new season isn't happening, but as Neil Diamond and Kurt Cobain once said, it's better to burn out than fade away?
It deserved a second season. Yeah, I think so.
I believe that Brickleberry deserved a second season. Like, a lot of stuff deserves a second season.
Yeah. Orange is the New Black season 7 came out this year. I haven't seen... I watched 20 minutes of the first episode, couldn't get into it, didn't revisit.
I did watch it all. It wasn't really good. It's mainly Piper just outside the jail, outside life and everything. And mainly her looking after the kids, getting their family getting pissed off with them being there. Oh, and them having to, as a punishment, was to drink the breast milk they had to drink from her as part of the punishments at some bits.
How's that punishing?
Apparently they didn't enjoy it.
I've heard mixed things. I have had people tell me to give it a good try because it does get good, but personally, I don't know. I was kind of disappointed.
I think waste.
One thing that we've talked about on the podcast before that you guys definitely have is the Witcher series. Have you been watching?
No, I do want to.
It aired the other day, didn't it?
It's meant to be really good.
I have seen random episodes of this and have so far enjoyed what I've seen.
You've watched it?
The smouldering intensity is second to none.
The Superman guy, isn't it?
You could eat cereal out of his chin. I am here for it.
He's been praised.
We'll revisit this the next podcast. Watch it and then let me know from there. Vikings season 7. Anyone?
No, but well, yes, I'm up for that.
Yes, your task from the last podcast
was to watch the Blood Eagle episode.
Have you?
No, but
Fucking useless.
Fucking
pussy hole.
Come
right,
on.
pause this.
No,
We're not allowed
no.
to continue until you have watched it.
No.
That's how we should do
But
it.
hear me out. But because that creaking that you've heard this whole episode is me in the store. I haven't watched the episode, but because of this podcast, I YouTubed the actual scene itself. And
it's not the same.
No.
No, what put me off was the idea of how gory it was going to be, and now that I know it's not, it's fine.
Well, we told you that before.
Yeah, but I've done it. It's like
actually, to be fair,
tick.
I told Joe that the Watchmen was a happy, fun superhero to trick him into watching it.
And it ended up being my
the
favourite.
very first you seen didn't even fucking sign it. Joe looked at me with the most look. I was like, oh, fuck.
It was the scene in the bar when the dude was punching the guy's jaw in and his blood flew out with teeth in it. I was like,
I don't remember everything.
How is that setting some sort of light-hearted, happy tone? But it turned out to be my favourite superhero movie ever. And then a few years ago, when I was meant to go watch a light-hearted weed comedy film called Savages, it turned out to not be
Is that me again?
that wasn't you.
Thank God.
That was Nick. From way back in Minimum Effort days. Jesus. Fuck me, that was ages ago.
Yeah, so Vikings has aired.
Last season.
And you've completely failed in your task to watch the Blood Eagle episode.
Bollocks, I'll watch the scene. It
does
count.
I think a punishment should happen.
Small dick boy YouTube video
What
of
punishment?
the scene.
I think of one.
Well, your homework was to get a Mackeys toy for today's episode, and have you done that?
Yes, and it is downstairs.
Oh!
Would you like... I've got 2 technically, because there is a series of Mackeys toys that I would like to talk to you about. And I'm really happy in the direction that Mackeys has gone with this, because I have criticised them in the past, way back in the past, in the last time that I reviewed a Mackeys toy, that they are single-use plastic and bad for the environment, etc., etc. That's been a big criticism of them recently. And what they have started to do to combat that is to produce toys for you to use again and again. And they have started this off by harking back to the good old days of fucking Connect 4, Jenga, frustration, etc., etc.
Gender frustration.
All of those things. And it's toys that you can use again and again. So I've got a mini Connect 4 courtesy of Mackeys.
I'm really intrigued. I want to see it. I'm definitely intrigued to see
this.
this.
And I'm kind of happy about that. I'm interested to see how they're going to take this forward. It might be that they try and promote other kind of games, or with the Jenga one, for example, you need to collect a few until you've got a full tower. That kind of a shit. I don't know. I'm excited for it. Although it's still being made of plastic, at least it's reusable and not just, something that you're going to throw away straight away. It's a direction. We'll see where it goes. What are we all looking forward to next year?
I was considering, when we do all this roundup of the year, I was like, I'm not even going to bother jumping on the internet to see what I'm looking forward to next year, because I have got so much to catch up on that, I need to start The Witcher. I really, really must do Vikings. I'm quite glad that Season 7 is the last season of Vikings, because all I have to do is catch up. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's done. That means all I have to do is watch the 7 seasons, because they're not making any more, which is fine. But yeah, I'm looking forward to The Witcher. I'm looking forward to BoJack.
Season 6 Part 2 on the 31st of January.
More AEW, of course.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
I still need to see Star Wars, which
That's
was
on Monday.
released a few days ago. Yeah, I'm seeing that tomorrow.
Mm.
It's received... Like, the two film reviewers that I trust, I only
Mixed.
trust two of them, are both either side of the fence. We'll see. I'm looking forward to the new season of The Ranch.
Yeah, 24th of January. Final season of The Ranch.
Yes, it is. And I'm quite surprised that they've managed to get so much material out of such a simple premise. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. But I'm not looking at 2020 in terms of like stuff that's being released. I'm just gonna try and catch up on stuff, and then I don't want to add stuff onto the to-do pile when the pile gets bigger and the time that I have to watch the pile remains the same, if not decreases.
I know what you mean. There is a lot out there that you feel they need to be on top of. But there are definitely things that I am looking forward to in 2020.
Shout out to Anthony Jeselnik for releasing the best stand-up comedy show of the year, Fire and Paternity Award. It was fucking hilarious.
Sex Education Season 2.
Really?
Ooh, that'd be
17th
good.
of January. You don't even have to wait that long. There you go. Now you're excited.
I look forward to
Podcast
watching that in
bitch.
2025.
And there is also a series being released on Netflix that has been created and stars RuPaul, courtesy of RuPaul's Drag Race. Those of you who love your drag queens, preach to me, sister, I'm here for you.
What's it called?
It's called AJ and the Queen. It's released on the 10th of January, so it's very, very soon. It features a bunch of drag queens from RuPaul's Drag Race as well. And I am very fucking excited for that. I think that's going to be very, very good. Does mean that RuPaul's Drag Race Season 12 is slightly delayed, but I'm fine with that. I'm quite happy for a different genre. In the same way that I have also been addicted to Katia and Trixie Mattel's series, which is unscripted on YouTube, called Try spelling that.
Turn the subtitles on.
Which I would highly recommend to anyone who wants to pass a few minutes on various topics.
How the fuck do you
Definitely.
YouTube that then?
It is spelled in capitals UNH and then in lowercase HHH. And it comes with an action.
Yeah,
which
how are you not
will
getting
see
that?
when you Google this. Either way, you'll enjoy. And apparently there's also on the 17th of January a psychology thriller set in Amsterdam called
As Scott's eyes open.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
the first time in 3 hours.
psychological thriller set in Amsterdam called Ares, A-R-E-S,
One question.
released on Netflix.
Will it be in English?
Well, it's been released on Netflix in the UK, so I'm assuming yes.
There's just been a lot that's been released, and there's a lot of foreign films, and I'm not that, it's just they release them in their mother tongue without subtitles, and I can't do subtitles.
How dare they do it in their own language?
Okay, Scott, you are our video games ambassador. So, what have you been playing this year that you enjoyed? Or didn't enjoy, perhaps?
I've been playing between actually mainly No Man's Sky. We did Crash Team Racing. So what did you all think of that?
Was that really released this year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones final season was released this year.
We've already talked about that extensively as well.
No, but that's what she's trying to say. It's this year.
Oh, yeah,
It's
sorry.
still this
Yeah,
year.
it's things that came out at the beginning of the year that you forget about.
Yeah, that's way back.
So what did you think of that?
Crash Team Racing?
I enjoy it.
Well, it was what... I find it hilarious that there are microtransactions involved in a game that's over a decade old. But all I wanted was the same shit with better graphics, and that's what I got. So no complaints. The online mode is bullshit and a lie.
Mm-hmm.
The AI,
In what way?
The AI gives you the illusion that you're online, but it's just bots with names that you would typically find online. But yeah. But no, I it's what I wanted. It's the same game with better graphics. All the microtransactions and all that kind of shit aside. That's what I want. If you can just ignore that, you'll be alright with it and have a good experience, which I did. I want the last campfire, sorry.
That looks interesting.
We did the trailer like a few podcasts ago. We spoke about it in depth. It was meant to be out this year and still hasn't been released yet. The Halo Master Chief Collection is out now, which I'm looking forward to. 5 Halo games for... No, that's not true. 7 or 6 Halo games for £30.
That's not bad. And what about Journey? Have you been playing much?
No, we came back shit-faced. We played it for a bit and then I woke up in the bathroom. I want to play more games, I want to read more books, but there's no time.
With all the wanking that happens, there is no time for literature.
So much wanking. So anyway, what you were saying?
And been playing Death Stranding, which I've recently completed.
It sounds like it's very Kojima.
It is. It was very much you play for a bit, watch for about... I think there was I can't remember how many hours. There was 17 hours worth of footage or something ridiculous in it. But it was really interesting, the stories were. Very in-depth, very confusing. And gameplay is a bit meh, but even though I've completed it, I'm still playing it. So obviously it's not that bad. I've somehow got myself mundaned into it.
It's his first game since he became an independent game developer after he finally separated from Konami.
I heard that in gameplay, when you're online with others, it's more about how you strategize as a community, whether you help each other to build shit or whether you take it away, etc. I think the whole point of that I read was they were interested to see how that developed, whether people would help each other or whether they'd tear each other down. And they were quite pleased to know that communities were starting and people would build bridges and then others would kind of add their own materials to it to make it a stronger bridge, etc.
I've done that.
Yeah, and they said that it was more a commentary about that than anything else.
Mostly very helpful. For instance, there's a path I was following at one point. There was a bridge from different people going down, which would automatically, if you use the item, gives them which I'm not massively but I understand it's part of the system, a like. And then you can also give them more likes by just standing next to them and pushing another button. And you can actually spam them and give them quite a lot. And then if there isn't, some people will put a little picture of a rope or a bridge, just so put a suggestion. So for someone coming down next thinking, oh, hang on, I've got a bridge or a rope, I can put it there for other people.
Like the way that the Dark Souls community leave messages with each other on the floor, saying this might happen or this might happen.
Yeah. And then they'll put out monsters, and then they'll put out ammunition, and they'll give out little things like that. And you can even actually turn off hints, so when you're in certain areas, certain markers won't show, so you won't get spoilers. So if you go into an area, you won't get loads of spams of that, but if you turn it off, you see a load of the red ones. So I kind of like that they actually can make it spoiler free a wee bit as well. It's a bit like Minecraft, as you can dig and alter the land, but now you can actually revert everything back to normal again.
I want Doom fucking 2 to come out soon. It's meant to be out next year. More Doom, please.
Isn't that
the
meant
soundtrack
to be more
alone.
Human or something?
It's Hell on Earth. It's
Earth,
set on Earth, but the Doom is obviously infested.
And that brings us to...
There wasn't even a slight segue.
We don't need one, that's a segue in itself. We created one.
Fair enough.
Intrinsically, because we're professionals.
Dickhead of the Week!
I've taken this one because I feel personally attacked by Amazon Prime Video.
Ooh.
Which, as we know, if you are a Prime member, it costs you £79 a year or $7.99 a month. Which, respectively, in comparison to Netflix, Spotify, blah, 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 it's about how much you pay for a subscription. Yeah, it's about right. And you wouldn't be mad at that. However, I attempted to watch a particularly niche cult comedy, horror, fantasy, sci-fi film called Evil Bong on Prime Video.
That's hilarious.
And I was redirected to an information page about full moon subscription, whereby I could only view Evil Bong if I subscribed to $3.99 per month or a 7-day free trial.
Why?
That's exactly my point. It's already fucking expensive enough. This is the description that Full Moon gives itself. Horror, fantasy, sci-fi, comedy, cult, and decades of bizarre genre films. Essentially, it's all those self-funded cult-type films under one subscription that you would only ever watch if they were free.
Yeah, for sure. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a fucking game changer in terms of the film industry or artistic industry or anything to do with anything.
The thing is, it's $3.99 a month. Your subscription is $7.99.
Disney Plus costs roughly that, I think. Maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, but with that on top, that's like
On
10,
top?
12.
When you already
12.
pay for a service and they want to charge you more for the same service for literally no reason, then why?
It's half again as much.
See, it's shit like this that pushes people to start illegally downloading stuff.
Yeah. Is basically the point I'm making. It's bullshit. And it's leeching off of a customer base when they're already leeching enough money. I mean, Amazon is one of the most successful and lucrative firms at the moment.
I think
that
it was
company is worth ridiculous amounts of money.
I think it was Jim Sterling who coined the phrase "fee to pay," as in you're paying for something, yet it's going to charge you more for the sake of continuing a service it should be providing you to begin with, without any additional costs.
Well, I dug deeper into Full Moon subscription, and it turns out that a lot of the things that you get under that subscription are porn related. But, however, listen out, it also incorporates films like, you know, any of the Elvira films, plus Evil Bong, so like a stoner film, under that category, as though it should be censored in the same way as porn should.
Okay.
The fucking Purge TV series that I was on about earlier is on Prime Video, and that's people smoking weed, taking drugs, killing each other.
So why on earth
So why would that make any difference?
And Elvira? What the fuck? That makes no sense.
So it's Vikings as well as on Prime Video. Like,
it annoys me.
Was he ever with Love Film?
I remember Love Film.
I loved Love Film. You ordered it, it came, you watched, you found it, you ordered it, it came, you watched, then Amazon took over, then it was just like, yeah, you're going to pay extra for that one. What? And then some of them you had to pay extra, but some of them were free, and I was just like, hang on, when it was with Love Film, I could have ordered the same on the same subscription I'm paying for, but now I've got to pay extra for it, and it was a start, and ever since that's what started making me dislike them, and then it just seemed to have just continued. As Joe said, for you to pay, the more you seem to be with them, you just have to pay extra. Yeah. Amazon Music and stuff like that, like, fair enough. Like, it's like, what, $10.99? But if you're paying for Amazon Prime, it should be like, you pay £1 extra, you get the Amazon Music thing in. Fair enough, £1 extra, I get a whole lot of
not fair enough.
No,
I disagree wholeheartedly. Like, Amazon Prime, it is one set fee, you get everything. There should not be add-ons. There should not be. In the same way that if you watch YouTube, you shouldn't have to pay extra to have it advert free. It should be advert free.
Like if you order a pint at a pub and they're like, oh, that's £2, yeah, here's your money. And they do it 2/3 of the way and they're like, oh, you got to pay an extra £1 for the rest of your pint. Fuck off. I paid for a pint. I was promised a pint. Why aren't you giving me my pint?
Yeah. It pisses me off that there's always add-on hidden extra costs with shit because it's greedy and I don't subscribe to that. Either way, Evil Bong, as a film, fucking cinematic perfection.
You paid?
I did the 7-day trial and cancelled. Group of stoners procure and smoke from a sentient, malevolent bong, unaware that it traps the toker in a surreal strip club with killer strippers.
Fucking hell.
Hello, Tommy Chung is in it. I mean, it's... just watch it. Subscribe and then unsubscribe.
No, download it.
Download it illegally.
Download
Fuck it. Fuck Amazon, cunts. So what category shall we put them in?
Right, well, that's why you heard that rustling around, which is interrupting Scott's very good point, which I enjoyed listening to. I mean that. I was just like, I need to find the sheet. You have a flaccid dick, currently occupied by yourself, Scott. Semi-flaccid dick, which is currently empty. Erect dick, where Activision is. Super erect dick, where Universal Studios, One-on-One Internet, and Michael Surovich is. Super throbbing erect dick is Oxford English Dictionary.
For the emoji.
Yes.
The word of the year this year is them. Pronoun, yeah.
Cockring is Will Smith, the Nintendo Switch, and the Dark Overlord. Shooting Blood is Nintendo in the iPhone 7. And Konami is the Jumanji 2 writers. I feel so guilty about that. And David Benioff and D.B. Weiss. So Claire, because this is all your personal experience. But it is bad, though, at the same point.
Yeah, because it takes away from self-funded filmmakers, puts them in the same category as porn, and then censorizes their creativity because of that. And then slaps a fucking subscription fee on top.
It does sound fun, though, that film.
It does.
Was it released this year?
It was.
Anyway, so where do you think it belongs?
I would say Shooting Blood. So we are now inducting Amazon Prime Video's full moon subscription into the Shooting Blood category of the dickhead of the week.
I concur.
Repent, and thou shalt be saved.
Now that that's done, very good. I did actually post that we were recording this podcast, and I said if anyone's got any questions, ask us. So I'm going to go on to Barely Breathing Facebook page and see if we have been asked any questions. Oh god, there's a notification.
Holy shit, don't tease us,
There's
man.
a notification!
Domino's is having half off this weekend.
Oh, it's just been liked. No one's actually said anything.
Well, that's progress, that's something.
That isn't too bad.
Additional progress, we have been invited to join another podcast.
We have indeed.
Yes, we have. It was literally out of nowhere because Scott was like, one of our friends does his own podcast. Is called Your Weekly Shave. The Barely Banter podcast team have been invited to appear as guests on his podcast. We'd officially like to say yes. We are well up for it.
They film too, so it's not just...
Yeah, it's a camera, and I'm concerned about...
We're going to have to wear something other than pyjamas.
I have to wear clothes.
I'm going to have to wear something other than my skin. It's going to be so annoying. It's going to be like, wow, they actually get that fucked. Now we're having to watch it.
Yeah, you'll see us get progressively worse, but we're excited about it. We're going to join
Very
them
much
there.
excited. Tom, we are very grateful for the invitation. We say yes.
Okay, can we wrap this up? Because I want to watch AEW and make this Chris Jericho wank slightly less awkward. So I'm hoping to get some material now. Can we watch AEW?